All right, what's going on, guys? So I have a word for you that the Lord dropped in me, in my spirit, and for many people, this is going to resonate extremely well. And what I mean is that this word is not for everybody. And there are certain people that God is calling right now to keep going, to keep persevering, because we're in a state where a lot of us are being tested. Do you want to have consensus and quit? Do you want to listen to the opinion of other people and stop? Or do you want to be able to continue moving with what God has for you? And the Lord gave me this passage today, and it's a story of Job. And if you know the story of Job, obviously he went through a lot of suffering. And one of the things that struck out just immediately for me as I was reading the first couple of chapters was his wife. And in the first chapter, he dedicates just this situation to God, right? He understands what it is that he's going through. He says famously, "Naked I come from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." And at the end of the chapter, it says, "In all of this, Job did not sin, nor charge God with wrong." There's a lot of us right now where we are convicted, we have the right mindset, we have the right outlook, we look at the situation and we don't curse the name of God. And I'm not saying just for a sin or rather a suffering or some trial or tribulation, but to hold fast to what God has given you, whether it's in your job, whether it's in a conviction of staying in a certain area, to hold on to a promise, to hold on to a conviction, to hold on to a view, to hold on to a truth, something that God has given you for you to be able to persevere, to have patience, to have self-control, to be tested in this time. But what struck out to me was his wife in chapter 2, when Satan came back and he had more problems, more health issues, and he was from head to toe struck with these issues, right, in his flesh, his boils. But what struck out was this quote from his wife, and it says, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." And at that moment, this wife, and we don't know, fully who this wife is, but I'm willing to bet you that this wife wasn't some, everyday, constant nagging Jezebel type of spirit. I'm pretty sure with all that Job had and how he was able to raise his family, to have all this wealth, that his wife wasn't in some kind of a demonic, every day, every hour, a satanic mentality. She just caved at that time, and she was able to not endure what was happening in this whole situation, especially with their children dying and perishing and all these different things, right? But what does he say? In verse 10, he says, "You speak as one of the foolish woman speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God, and shall we not accept adversity? In all of this, Job did not sin with his lips." Right now, there's a lot of you where God is testing whether you want to take the opinion, the consensus of the people around you, of other people who, in some sense, are giving up and they're tapping out early. This woman, Job's wife, tapped out and said, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." Meaning, don't persevere, give up. And I'm not saying that she's a wicked person. I'm saying that there's some of us who can't keep up with the marathon. There are some of us who are not able to endure and persevere, but you may be in that position where God has given you, for your family, for your friends, for your church, for your community, for your workplace, for whatever it is that God has given you, that you are in this position right now. Everybody around you is yelling at you. Why are you still holding on to that, bro? Like, aren't you over that? It's been so long. Why are you wanting to stay in this town? Why do you want to persevere in your job? You should move on. You're still trying to stay in this school, in your major, in your current title, in whatever it is that God is giving you. Why is it that you have to still do this? Why is it that you're still holding on to that view? Why is it that you're still doing X, Y, Z, right? And it's not even in the perseverance aspect. It could be in other areas. Do you want to pursue something new? It's a dream. It's a new calling. It's a new beginning. It's a new ministry. Whatever it is. But there are naysayers. There are people that are in your life. They may not necessarily be Jezebels, satanic, demonic people, but because they don't have the perseverance, the endurance, the integrity to be able to continue going, it's up to you to be able to look at that and say, "Father, am I not charging God with wrongdoing and not sinning, but is it up to me to be able to continue persevering, to continue to be able to to seek him, to align with him, and to go through with this. And this isn't some way to justify it as being arrogance or being, prideful. Oh, you should let go. But really, for those that have what Job had, for those that had what King David had, for those that had what Daniel had, for those that had what Joseph had, they didn't tap out and give up. But for many people, you're in a state of testing where other people, even your closest family, your wife even, tells you completely opposite. Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Do you still believe in this? Do you still have trust in this? Why are you still doing that? But in that moment, Job, and I'm not saying that this is the thing that you should say to the other person, you foolish woman. I'm not saying that. But because he had the integrity, he had the endurance, the perseverance, the self-control, the patience to be able to continue enduring, he was able to not sin. The Bible says in all of this, Job did not sin with his lips. So I have a question for you. Are you going to not sin with your lips? Are you going to be able to take what God has given you in your life, in your individual situation, in your individual suffering, in your individual circumstance, whatever it is? And are you going to move forward by holding fast to it? Everybody else is going to tell you you are arrogant, you are prideful, you are stupid, you're waiting too long, you don't have the wisdom and the insight, you should be able to let go of it and move on. But you know in your heart of hearts, in the stillness, still small voice that you have with God, that this is what God wanted you to hold on to. And so we need more of these people. We need more of you guys to be able to say, nope, I don't want to, listen to the consensus and be able to just give up. There's so many people in life, they just throw in the towel. They tap out because everybody else is doing the same thing. When I was running the marathon, when I was training for it, there's a lot of people, they weren't able to continue to keep up. They weren't able to be enduring each and every single mile. There's people that are going to drop off first. There's people that are not going to have the self-control. They're not going to be able to have the endurance to be able to continue going because they don't have that tenacity. They don't have that character in them. And it's not to say that they're bad and they're hell-deserving sinners. It's just that it's up to other people like Job, like the modern day Jobs of the world, to be able to hold fast to what God's given you and to be able to continue to go forward. And so this is a word of encouragement and exhortation for many of you guys. For others, it's fine. If you don't have that ability to continue going on, lay yourself down at the foot of the cross and see where God is going to teach you some things. And I'm pretty sure God taught Job's wife in that time of how to maintain and endure. And in hindsight, maybe after, and again, I don't know what it doesn't say in the Bible, right? But I'm just taking a guess. Maybe his wife came around and said, you know what, during that time, you persevered and you were able to continue going and you did not sin with your lips. And I admire that and I learned from that. But to be able to take our character, our endurance, our patience, perseverance, these trials to the next level. There's some people, they have to take the torch, the mantle, and continue going more than other people. And in that time, in that moment, it's going to look like, oh, maybe I should throw in the towel. Maybe I'm being arrogant and prideful. I just might be missing the point here. Maybe this is a good counsel. But imagine if Job took the counsel of his wife. You're right. What am I thinking? I should just give up and not be holding on to my integrity. Thanks, wife. I'm so glad you were there. You're not foolish. You were wise. But no, he went against it. And so again, guys, I'm not talking about what you should say or you shouldn't say and justifying certain things. I'm talking about those that truly have a calling, a situation like Job or something similar. It may not have to be suffering, it may not have to be in this circumstance, but for whatever conviction, whatever calling, whatever integrity that you have, meditate on that and say, man, Lord, is this from you? And if it is, I want to hold fast to it. And this is how I want to worship you. This is how I want to give you glory. This is how I want to be able to stand apart and above the fray and allow Christ to be shown through this situation, this perseverance, this aspect of this one point in my life. So again, take it to the Lord, guys. I love you guys. Be blessed, be encouraged. Talk to you guys very soon.